Have you ever wondered what a mature Christian faith really looks like? I mean, it's a huge question, and sometimes the answer can feel a little fuzzy. Well, today, we're going to dig into some really powerful research that gives us a clear and practical blueprint for what it actually means to grow. So let's just jump right in with the data, because this is pretty eye-opening. The Search Institute did a study on the spiritual state of adult Christians, and they found 4 distinct types of faith. Get this. Only about a third of people, 32%, landed in the category they called integrated faith. The rest were split between underdeveloped faith, horizontal faith, and vertical faith. Okay, so here's where it gets really wild. If you add up those other 3 groups, you get a whopping 68%. This led the researchers to a pretty blunt conclusion. The vast majority of Christians aren't in what you'd call a spiritually mature state. And that immediately begs the question, why? And what do these weird labels even mean? To get to the why, we first have to understand the what. The whole diagnosis from the study really comes down to 2 key dimensions of faith, and that's what we're going to break down first. The whole framework is built on this really simple but powerful idea. Think of it like a plus sign or a cross. Mature faith has 2 parts. There's the vertical dimension, that's your relationship with God, prayer, worship, all that personal stuff. And then there's the horizontal dimension, that's your relationship with other people. Service, community, loving your neighbor. You can't have real maturity without being strong in both. So how does this actually help us? Well, when you take those 2 dimensions and put them together, you get 4 distinct categories of faith. It's actually a super helpful way to see where you might land and think about where you're headed. So check this out. This grid lays it all out perfectly. The up and down axis is your relationship with God. It can be high or low. The side-to-side axis is your relationship with people. And you can see how that creates 4 different boxes, right? Those are the 4 types of faith the study came up with. Now let's talk about the 2 unbalanced types. First, you have vertical faith. These are folks who have a strong personal connection to God, but they're pretty weak when it comes to connecting with and serving their neighbors. Then you flip it. You've got horizontal faith. These people are all about social action and community, which is great, but their personal relationship with God is pretty weak. You can see how both are missing something huge. And that brings us to the other 2 categories. Undeveloped faith is, well, pretty much what it sounds like. It's weak on both axes. And hey, for many people, that's the starting line. But the goal, the real target for Christian maturity, is integrated faith. This is the sweet spot. It's where a strong, vibrant relationship with God directly fuels and powers a strong, loving relationship with other people. The 2 are woven together completely. Okay, so if integrated faith is the goal, how in the world do we actually get there? This is where things get really interesting and maybe a little counterintuitive. It's what the source calls the paradox of growth. In our culture, what does it mean to be an adult? It's all about independence, self-reliance, standing on your own 2 feet, right? Well, here's the paradox. Christian maturity is the exact opposite. It's about becoming more dependent on God, not less. It's about learning to stop trying to stand on your own strength and learning to stand on His. And here's why it's a paradox. This deeper dependence on God doesn't make you weaker or more passive. It's actually the opposite. The more you lean on God, the more responsible and effective you can be in the world. It's like plugging into a power source that's way bigger than your own. It actually empowers you to do more. Now, this isn't about becoming a totally new person overnight, like some kind of magic trick. I love this quote from Gordon T. Smith. He says, "Transformation is always the transformation of something." In other words, God doesn't just erase who you are. He takes the life you have, your personality, your history, all of it, and He begins to transform and renew it from the inside out. And this is absolutely crucial. This transformation is not a solo project. You just can't do it alone. Spiritual growth is a team sport. It happens in community. Think of it like a family that provides support, protection, and a place where we can actually learn and practice how to live this stuff out together. Okay, so we've got the framework and we've talked about the process. But what does this actually look like in real life? Let's get down to brass tacks in our last section, the evidence of maturity. The Bible uses this really simple and beautiful metaphor for this. The true test of a mature faith isn't what you know or what you say you believe. It's all about the fruit that your life produces. A healthy, mature tree, it just naturally produces good fruit. It's the evidence that it's alive and well. And the Bible gets super specific about what this fruit looks like.
In the book of Galatians, there's this famous list: love, joy, peace, forbearance, which is just a fancy word for patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. These are the real tangible qualities that start to show up in a life that's deeply connected to God. But here's a cool little detail that a lot of people miss. In the original Greek, the word for fruit, karpos, is actually singular. It's not fruits, plural. So what does that tell us? It means this isn't a buffet where you can pick and choose. You can't say, I'll take love and joy, but hold the self-control. No, it's one single unified fruit with 9 different flavors. They're all meant to grow together.
So, why does all this matter? What's the point of pursuing this? Well, it's not just about becoming a better person for your own sake. The real purpose is so much bigger. It's so we can better serve God, build up our communities, be a true witness to the world, and live a life that's genuinely transformed by God, not one that's just shaped by the culture around us. And really, that's the bottom line. The world is hungry for people who are living this kind of authentic, mature, integrated faith. So the question this all leaves us with is a really personal one for every single one of us to think about. What fruit is your life producing?